And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back, my people. Allen Iverson has a new book coming out called Misunderstood, and so I guess he's been making the rounds with the press, talking about the book. And in one particular interview, he was asked about his top 5, to which Allen Iverson didn't hesitate to give his top 5. So this article is coming from CBS Sports. It says Allen Iverson lists his top 5 NBA players of all time. Steph Curry makes the cut alongside the Duck. Says Allen Iverson shared his list of the top 5 NBA players of all time this week, and he included a few obvious choices along with one surprise. A Hall of Famer and member of the NBA's 75th anniversary team, Iverson's list included 3 fellow guards. It also included the NBA's all-time leading scorer and arguably the game's most dominant inside presence since Wilt Chamberlain. Quote, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Shaquille O'Neal, Iverson told CBS News. Iverson's inclusion of Jordan and James are no-brainers, as they are universally considered as arguably the greatest basketball players of all time. Michael Jordan is considered the greatest of all time. LeBron James has had some manufactured narratives and opinions that has brainwashed a small segment of the world that focuses on the cult fanboy members of the 4 and 6 Kingdom. But anyway, had to clear that up. Let's continue. It says Bryant is also not terribly surprising, as was one of the most prolific scorers the game has ever seen, and defender as well. They always leave that out about Kobe Bryant, and defender. Says Bryant was also a 5-time NBA champion who won one of his titles at Iverson's expense. Speaking of that, Bryant's former teammate O'Neal may have played the biggest role in Iverson falling short of winning an NBA title after Iverson dropped 48 points in the 76ers upset of the Lakers in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. O'Neal, who had 44 points and 20 rebounds in Los Angeles Game 1 loss, responded with another dominant performance in an NBA Finals series. The reigning league and NBA Finals MVP, O'Neal averaged 33 points, 15.8 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 3.4 blocks per game, while leading the Lakers to 4 straight wins en route to the Lakers' second consecutive title. O'Neal and Bryant, who averaged 24.6 points a game, 7.8 rebounds, 5.8 assists, and 1.4 steals, did enough to hold off the 76ers and Iverson, who in defeat averaged a series best 35.6 points per game. It says Curry may be Iverson's most surprising inclusion, in that he is rarely mentioned in such conversations. That being said, Curry has a pretty good argument to be in those talks, as he changed the way the game is played. And we're going to hold up there, people. So Iverson's top 5 is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, the Duck, the Deer, the leader of the 4 and 6 Kingdom, Steph Curry, and Shaquille O'Neal. Now, for anybody who's followed Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant being number 2 shouldn't be a surprise. I feel like he's said this many times, but we all know the 4 and 6 Kingdom LeBron James fanboys will have a problem with this. Now, I will say I'm very surprised that Steph Curry is on the list, and, somewhat surprised that Shaquille O'Neal is on this list too. Now, LeBron James shouldn't be on the list, but again, through propaganda and whatnot, most people, I feel like, is going to have LeBron James in their top 5. Most people who hadn't really looked at LeBron James' career with a magnifying glass will have LeBron James in their top 5. But anyway, so it seems like I disagree with this list. Obviously, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant are the only people I agree with being in this top 5. Steph Curry, I can understand why some people could put him there for his impact on the game, but I've never seen Steph Curry as a dominant type player like that. And when I think of, people in the top 5, people who I would have in my top 5, to me, these are people who really impose their will on the game in a very significant fashion, not just who just excelled at something, which is kind of the way I view Steph Curry. He's arguably the greatest shooter of all time, arguably. But that's what he excelled in. But when I think of top 5, I think of people who just had an inconquerable will. So, Jordan, Kobe, Kareem, Bird, and Magic. And the order of that may change except for the fact that Michael Jordan is always number 1. But like I said, 2 through 5 for me is always subject to change because I feel like I can always think of reasons why 2 through 5 should be rearranged. But yeah, I tend to, when I make a top 5, I tend to think of the people who, if I was going to choose one person to form a team around, who would that be? And for me, Steph Curry wouldn't be that. For me, Shaquille O'Neal wouldn't be that. And, people are going to say, oh, well, Shaquille O'Neal is the most dominant center. First of all, to me, that's not true. I think Wilt has to be given the title still of the most dominant center to ever play the game. But for the very reasons that Kobe and Shaq didn't get along is the very reasons that I wouldn't start my team around Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, he's a dominant force in the game of basketball. Yes, Shaquille O'Neal at his prime was an unstoppable force, but the mentality of a Shaquille O'Neal is not one that I would want my team to be modeled after. Someone who thought it was cool to come in out of shape, at the beginning of the season, who didn't take the off season seriously, someone who, honestly, a lot like LeBron James had a very joking mentality. Now, in ways, of course, Shaquille O'Neal took the game more serious than LeBron James, but that's not hard to do. Shaquille O'Neal was known for being like a silly jokester and all this other stuff. And so, yeah, for those reasons, I wouldn't want Shaquille O'Neal to start my team with a Shaquille O'Neal. I would want somebody with a more serious mentality towards the game, someone who was going to lead by example, not just because they were the biggest and strongest person on the court. And so, yeah, Steph Curry, again, not there are other people who I would choose over Steph Curry to start my team with. So Steph Curry would fall further down the list. Now, after it's all said and done and Steph Curry retires, for me, Steph Curry is probably going to be top 15, just kind of right off the cuff. But and then, last but not least, if you've been following this channel, I really don't even have to get into the reasons why I would not start my team with LeBron James. But if you want a quick list, doesn't take the game serious. He's a flopper. He's disloyal. He takes shortcuts. He spends more time supposedly on his body than he does actually improving his skill set. He doesn't have any go-to moves. He's passive aggressive. The list goes on, people. He has flopping compilations. He's not fundamentally sound. He has traveling compilations, carrying compilations. He's a liar. Yeah, people. I mean, we could go on and on. So yeah, as far as Iverson's list, like I said, I don't agree with 3 of the players that he has in his top 5: LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Shaquille O'Neal. But obviously, I can understand Steph and Shaquille more so than the Duck. To me, in this day and age, if you still have LeBron James in your top 5, you really need to go do some research, and not just research of his statistics and accomplishments. You need to research how he achieved those, and you need to ask yourself if you are okay with how he has achieved them. And if you are okay with how he has achieved them, you need to ask yourself why you are okay with how he has achieved them. Why are you okay with the fact that he joined Miami? Again, because the super team thing, it's a difference when a super team is formed by management and by drafting and those type of means versus players conspiring together to form one. When you do it as a player, you are saying that instead of competing against the best, I want to join the best. So if you don't have a problem with that, you need to ask yourself why. Again, you need to go back through the history of the game and understand the standards that have been set before LeBron James entered the NBA, and ask yourself, why are you okay with him breaking these standards? Ask yourself why you're okay with flopping and the various things. But anyway, we gonna hold up here, people. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you think about Allen Iverson's top 5? What is your top 5? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.